Hello and welcome to Roller Coaster of Running. And today we are going to be opening a few boxes. They're not mystery boxes. I know exactly what I've ordered, but I thought it would kind of build some anticipation and open them in front of you and get you to see some of the gear that I've ordered that I'll be using in the next few weeks, the next few months, and possibly the next few years as well. So there's a few different things coming through. I thought it would be a bit of an exciting and a little bit different content to give you today. I am going to be assisted by my lovely wife, who is behind the screen and wishes for it to stay like that. As I said in the previous video, you will get to see her at some point, I promise. But tonight, when I'm filming this, she's going to be my glamorous assistant, and she's going to hand me some of the packages and the boxes that I've ordered. So, Jenny, if you would be so kind, could you pass me whatever the first box is that you come to? Oh, down goes the going off run number. So, what do we have on this particular one? So, just to kick things off, and I think it might be worth me explaining why I've ordered this particular one. As a slightly larger guy, I'm also a very sweaty guy as well when I'm doing any kind of exercise, as I'm sure the lads who play football will know very well by now. And certainly when I go running, I come back and I look like I've been swimming, is the only way I can kind of explain it. One of the downsides to that is, unfortunately, some of the clothes that I wear when I go running, it does rub a little bit. There's a bit of chafing going on, whether that be on my top, and I get the horrible feeling that is jogger's nipple. If you've ever experienced it, it's horrible. I won't go into great detail about that. I'm sure you can Google it if you really want to see that. But yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things. You run a while, your clothes get kind of saturated with sweat, and then that wet material rubs against your skin. Meaning that it can cause a little bit of friction burn on you. That also happens to around my waistbands as well. So one of the things that I've been researching, looking into, is something I could possibly use that would help me with that and getting rid of chafing. So there's a company called Runderwear. So this is an order that I put in for some running underwear as they've amalgamated into Runderwear. So I've ordered a few different pairs. I've got some blue pairs, which I got on the clearance sale. So it only cost about, I think it was like £3 each. So I'm going to give them a go and see how we get on. And there's a nice fetching black pair as well. Don't worry, I'll never ever get you to see these ones in particular, but I will let you know how we get on. They do say they got best underwear and socks winner at the National Running Awards in 2018, 19 and 20. Chafe-free, seamless technology, and moisture wicking. So if you've ever had a problem with any kind of chafing going on, then check out Runderwear. I'll give you a bit of a feedback as to how they've got on, but certainly the idea of having seamless underwear when you're out running, so nothing downstairs gets too badly friction burned or anything like that. But I believe they actually have a guarantee, chafe-free guaranteed. So I'll hopefully I can take them up on that if it does. But there we go. So 3 pairs. This is the week where I'll be doing a Great North 5K on Friday night. And then on Saturday, I've got the mini Great North Run or the junior Great North Run, mini Great North Run with my daughter Lena. So I'll be doing that on the Saturday afternoon. And then Sunday's the big one. It's the Great North Run. It's 13.1 miles from Newcastle South Shields. So I will need all the advantage and hopefully not hurt myself too much in terms of any kind of friction burns or jogger's nipple, etc. So I will stop talking about nipples now and move on to the next package, Jenny. Oh, so I have to remind myself, because I bought a few things and I was like, oh, I'll open these in front of the camera, and I apologize if this is really loud. And I'll show you what this one is. So we have some new running shorts. Again, one of those things that I probably have far too many of, but I did some research again in terms of I've got some runs coming up also, not just this week, but hopefully the Kilda half marathon as well in a few weeks' time. And then moving on into October, November, I'll be across in Disney in the tropical climes of Florida, which if you've ever been before, it can get very hot and sweaty. And doing the Run Disney events, even though they're at 5 o'clock in the morning, again, very, very sweaty. So we've got some lovely green 2-in-1 running shorts. I do prefer, just to kind of insight, I do prefer the 2-in-1. So you get this sort of outer layer of normal shorts, and then you get the kind of Under Armour style inner shorts. These are Adidas. So the majority of my running clothes, I do tend to go with Adidas because I just know the fit very well, and I've never had any issues with it in terms of like letting me down. And also, I try and go for just sort of darker colours to mask a bit of sweatiness, because when you're getting close to finish line, you've done something like 13.1 miles or even 10 kilometers, 10 miles, etc., then things get sweaty and you get your photo taken, then it's always good to be able to mask that somehow. I'm not sure if I've spoken about it before, but there's a picture of me when I went to do one of the Disney runs, and I'm stood with Mickey and Minnie, and I got caught in a downpour, and thank goodness I was wearing some dark shorts, because I felt like I just jumped into a swimming pool. That's exactly how wet I looked. There's a great pocket on the back, as there is with a lot of running shorts, where you can keep your keys, or you might be able to keep a gel or some running, some like jelly beans, etc., to keep you going. So always welcome to have that. Some pockets on the sides. A nice. Is there pockets on the sides? Yes, there is. No, there isn't. There's some nice reflective strips down the side, though, to make sure you're visible when you're out running. But certainly there is on the back a nice zip, so nothing to catch your hands on when you're running, which is probably a better idea anyway. I do believe, on the inner layer, I don't know if it's easy to see, there is a slot for your phone to go in. So these are, for me, perfect running. And I'm just trying to see if there's anything that tells me exactly what the model is. Unfortunately not. But I can put a link if people are interested. I can put a link in the comments to show you exactly what these are. So this, as I say, I would probably say it's like a forest green with a fluorescent green straps there, ring ties, pull ties even on the insides. Jenny, while I'm waffling on, are you all right passing me another package? Oh, a light one. I believe this is another one from Adidas, and something that I've probably put off too long to get. And the weather at the moment has randomly decided in England, after a terrible July, it's suddenly started to get quite hot and sunny. As I say, only in Britain would you get the weather that we've been having. So again, I don't know if this will come through as ASMR or just very, very annoying. I bought myself a running hat. It's the first one I've ever had. I get a very hot head, so I've kind of put one off having one. Yeah, I went for a heat-ready running hat, Adidas. Very basic. This is, for my big head, is an extra large to large. Let's see how we get on here. But the idea is basically when you're running in the sun is you should be protecting your head and make sure that you don't overheat. It's a very breathable material, actually. It's very, very light. I think they say it's 6-panel. But yeah, again, off the Adidas website, and it's just down as headwear. So one size fits all, but this is when I ordered it, it was a large, extra large hat. As you can see, it's just got the Adidas emblem on the front, and then a nice easy Velcro strap at the back to adjust however you need it to. But certainly when I'm in Florida in particular, I'll be needing a running hat to protect me from what is a very strong sun, because there's been a few times I think I've become very dehydrated and not done myself any favors in the last few miles of a run, when really I should have been trying to keep hydrated, keep my head out the sun as much as possible, because as you can see, I'm getting older, my hair's getting a little bit thinner, so I need to protect my head, and I'm sure my wife will be very happy about that fact as well, as she passes me the next box. Thank you. So this one is a birthday present from a good friend. Thank you, Adam, which just came through today. Let's see if I can tear this box open, which in the long run should give us some more content. It's very well wrapped by the looks of it as well. But effectively what I've bought is for the GoPro, I bought a gimbal. This particular gimbal is going to help me get some more steady footage. I will try it out over the next few days and the events over the weekend, see where we're at, because especially for the Disney runs, there's a lot to look at. There's character stops and there's mile markers and things like that, and I really want to kind of capture as much as possible, because you pay a lot of money to go to these Disney events, and I really want to make sure that I can get every single minute out of it as possible. So the idea behind a gimbal is it will keep your camera steady as possible, and it moves with the camera to make sure you get that stability that you need. And then when I put it up, I'll be able to kind of do these talks over in the background, or you might be able to even hear me while I'm running as well, and you'll see exactly what it is and feel like you're there out on the course with me as well. So it is very tightly wrapped, but I'm sure I'll do like a full breakdown of what the gimbal looks like on its own video as well, as I get used to it, because it's not something I've used before. But I'm very excited to see the results of that. So I'll be using my GoPro, I believe it's a Hero 11 Black series, and yeah, it will give me some great footage moving forward for the channel. As we move on to, I think it's the last box. I might have to just open this one. Thank you very much. So as you can see, everything else has been Adidas in terms of any kind of apparel or gear that I've got. This is Nike. My running shoes that I'm wearing at the moment are at the end of their life, because I've basically run them into the ground. I always like to have a spare pair ready, so I have this pair, and this will be getting put to use. This is a new pair of trainers, running shoes, for after the Great North Run, because the best bit of advice I could give you is do not switch to trainers that you've never worn before in the build up to a run. Obviously, you can do it a few weeks, a few months in advance, but I certainly wouldn't suggest trying to change, even if you're changing into a new pair that's the same style and model, etc. Because basically, if the stitching is different, then you might get some rubbing on your feet, or you might get blisters, or your feet just might not be used to the kind of sturdier base, because over time, while you're running, you're wearing down the sole, and your feet will kind of adjust to that as you're out running. But to switch to a brand new pair that haven't been broken in a few days before a half marathon would be pretty insane, because you'd be putting your body and your feet through a ridiculous trial, which could go horribly wrong. My preferred pair of running shoes is the Nike Air Zoom Pegasus 39. So at the moment, I've got a pair of very beaten up, almost grey and sort of teal colour, would you say, Jenny? With a kind of splash of orange on. So they show up a lot of dirt. I run around a couple of dirt tracks in Newcastle, I guess you'd probably call them. So I'll give you a bit of a sneak peek as to what's coming for after the Great North Run, which will be the next pair that I start to use. But they are the same sort of series, which is the Pegasus 39. So I've got a nice fetching pair of green, which will go fantastically well with those new shorts. But these ones are green and yellow. I'd probably call them, again, probably a forest green. And they've got like sort of highlights of a sage green with that yellow tick and yellow featuring on it for the laces and on the tongue as well. So really excited to get into that. I find I'm very lucky in the sense of my feet are very neutral when it comes to running shoes. I've seen a lot of people ask what's the best running shoe that people have experienced, but it's completely down to you and the individual. What I would say is, if you've got a running shop in your local area, would be to go down there, support your local running shops, and see what they do. A lot of them will help you work out if you run on your instep or your outstep, or basically measure your gait, which is a way to find out if you're flat-footed, etc. So they'll let you know the shape of your foot and what running shoe would be best for you as you start to get forward. I would say as well, don't be cheap if you can't help it when it comes to running shoes, because these are the things that you need. Like everything else I've got here in terms of running hat or a gimbal, or the underwear, is a luxury at the end of the day. But your running shoes are something that you need to have and need to be comfortable in as you go running. Equally, you can spend a lot of money on a pair of running shoes that just don't suit your feet, and then you've wasted money. So best advice I could give you on this video, get yourself down a running shop, and let them tell you what kind of running shoes they think you need. The last thing I'll show you today is I've already opened them, but it's the first time I've used them. And normally when you go to running events, you get a bib. As you'll see here, this is my running bib for the Great North Run, and you have to attach them to your clothing. And often I have to, most of the time, most people will use safety pins. And what that does is it effectively leaves holes and can pinch. And when you get sweaty or wet, if it's raining, that material that's on it is just paper, so it can rip with the safety pins. And then you kind of holding on to the bib as long as you possibly can, and you just don't want to let it go, because obviously that's how they know you're running the race. That's how they know you're in the event. That's how you can get your photos, etc. So what I've decided to try this year is I saw a deal where you get personalized bib. I don't even know what you really call them. They're called bib clips, snap lock bib clips. So one in each corner. So this one's for the Great North Run. I'll see if I can get it to focus. That's probably as good as I'm going to get it. But you put one in each corner and it holds your bib in place, a race number, whatever you want to call it. And it's one less thing to worry about. And it just snaps on one side of your shirt and then through to the other. And it just kind of holds it there. So again, something I'll be trying over the next few days and see how we get on. Hopefully they'll work, because it would be great to use them in Disney for when I do the challenges and you've got to use the same race bib for more than one race. So yeah, a lot of new gear, a lot of new equipment that I'm hoping will help me on the runs, and it will kind of help me get some more footage out for the channel, and basically just make me feel more comfortable. And in the case of like shorts and underwear and things like that, I'll be feeling a bit fresher and recover quicker as well, because at the end of the Great North Run, I'm often stung by the hot water of the shower afterwards, where I've kind of had the friction burn. And it might be funny for everyone else who can hear me squeal in the shower, but it's not fun at the time for me. So anyway, nice and short video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'll certainly help where I can. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how this all works, and I'll get back to you with a few reviews as I'm out doing my practice runs and on the events this weekend. And yeah, thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you really soon.